Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lennon. How you guys doing? And welcome back to our Faction Focus Sunday. Today, last week we took a look at one of the desert kingdoms called Masazili, and today we are taking a look at one of the desert kingdoms, and that is Kush. Kush is a interesting faction. It's wedged between a couple of other factions, which makes it a difficult and interesting start position. Like last time, we still have the plus 10% morale during battles in the desert, which you're gonna fight a lot, so that's really helpful. A little bit debuff on research rate, but as Kush you get disciplined workforce, 10% reduction in slave population decline, so with more slaves you get more money and you get them longer, and the land of the bows plus 6% missile damage inflicted by all archers, which you have very capable archers, so plus 6% missile damage is quite substantial in the long run. So let me get into the campaign map, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so here we are on the campaign map, and as you can see, as the Kingdom of Kush, we start with two settlements, one main settlement and one small coastal settlements. Logistic or like diplomacy wise, you don't have anything going for you just yet. You only have one trade agreement with Nabatea, and I think that is basically what's holding Egypt at bay for now, since they like your treaties with Nabatea. But other than that, everyone is pretty much neutral to a little bit unfriendly towards you. And so expansion wise, you have a few options, and of course the immediate thing is take out Axum so you complete your province. But after that you have a choice, either go up towards, take the fight towards Egypt while they're still weak, or sail over the sea and take out Saba over here and over here. Because this is a very big chunk of land, not many settlements, so expansion might be a little bit slower, but with your low quality units, these guys, the desert factions, are generally a little bit easier to fight than Egypt, especially in the later stage of the game, so might not be a bad idea to try to take out Egypt with some force in the beginning straight away. So that, conquest wise, you have your options open for you. Either go north to take out Egypt, and then like everything every way of the land is open to you. And over here as well, like you could go over here, maybe go up, maybe just take out the sea and go over here, so you have like the entire bottom neck of the map, which should give you some extra trade since this is all friendly waters by that time. So yeah, those are your options for expansion mid to late game. Your biggest adversaries, I think, will be either Bactria or the Seleucids, depending on who gets on top. And over here, you might have some struggles dealing with Carthage and Rome, of course. The Greek Hellenic factions, I do think you have pretty much everything you need to defeat them in your arsenal. So about that arsenal, let's talk about it. Kush has 2 lines. If you take the artillery with you, 3 lines, but 2 lines of recruitment, and that is your animal breeders, so your cavalry factions, like your cavalry options. Speaking is hard today, I don't know why, I'm so sorry. Which you have 2 options. You can get some African elephants or African war elephants at tier 2 and 3, but I think at one point your better option is to go this way. Give yourself some Ethiopian calf, which is a pretty decent calf, a little bit better than the desert calf. 45, 25, 15, and yeah, 46, 38 don't have a bonus, but they do have better stats. So these are like pretty decent melee calf, where this is more a charging calf, support calf for other calf fights. At tier 3 you get the armored desert calf, which is just basically a little bit better of all. And at the tier 4 you get the scythe chariots, which are the good or better chariot variants, although still same problem as normal chariots, but these guys have a little bit more extra staying power and fighting power against infantry. And the Kushite Royal Guard, which is a very, very decent melee cav with like 52 and 29 weapon damage. Very decent charge bonus, 42, melee defense of 63, 65 armor. So very, very, very good stats all around. Quite expensive, but very much worth it once you get towards the end of the campaign. Your other option is the infantry tents, which is just one tier, one line building. So you don't really have to have too many in your empire. And as like the normal standard, you get the ability to get slave slingers, slave infantry, and immediate spears. And like we talked about with the Masaisli, slave infantry, very weak, kind of decent at like rear charging and supporting, but never in prolonged combat will they pay for themselves. Although it's not very hard to pay for yourself if you only have 15 bucks of upkeep per turn. So yeah, you do have the options for pretty shitty units, so I would advise to build a barracks very quickly on. Early on, you get the tribesmen, which is basically your form of javelin men. You get the archers and swordsmen. And here's where the archers already come in clutch, because you can see slave slingers and archers. Missile damage is better, range is a little bit shittier, ammunition is a little bit shittier. But if you take a look at this, we have 35% of 35 missile damage, but there's also a still plus 6%, so that does get a little bit higher, and as you're progressing it just stacks up more and more. Swordsmen, pretty decent, still not all too good, but they will hold the front line a lot better than the slave infantry. Upgrade that, you get the medium bowmen, which are just a little bit better in a few of the other ways, like missile damage and range, a little bit more range. Missile damage is basically the same, shots per minute, ammo is the same. They have a little bit more holding power with some extra weapon damage and some extra melee defense. This is where it starts to get better, because you get access to pikes. So you could have a front line of Kushite pikes, and then have either the swordsmen or your slave infantry backing them up, going for flank charges, rear charges. So that is where your slave infantry can really start supporting your main line of Kushite pikes. Or if you go one tier further, the Shutel warriors, and this is where shit gets fun, because these guys are very good. Don't have amazing stats, but basically if you get to them quickly, if you build up quickly towards the Shutel warriors, you should be able to dominate like all the desert factions, maybe even the eastern factions pretty early on, because they don't really have infantry to deal with this. They have good shields, so good block chance, so they are very steady all around. And then the Kushite archers, still a little bit better in everything than your other archers. Leopard warrior, just upgrade for your minion spears. So pretty decent spear unit for flanking and anti-cav. And over here you have the tier 4, you have the Royal Kushite archers, which are just a little bit better yet again. These guys have 40 missile damage, so plus your 6%. Would give you like what, another 3 or 4 extra, so about 44-45 missile damage. Pretty decent for a archer unit. And the armored Shutel warriors, just an upgrade of your normal Shutel warriors. Whew, that was a whole pretty decent speech. So you have pretty well balanced armies. You can get a front line of pikes supported by the leopard warrior, spears, or even slave infantry, or go hardcore with the Shutel warriors as a front line, archers in the back, cav on the flanks. Like, you have all your options. One thing that I did not know when I played this campaign on my own as a This is Total War campaign is that if you take the Shrine of Aphrodite, which is pretty good, not the best, so one that I overlooked in the early game, is if you get them to tier 4, you get the Disciples of Aphrodite, which, as you can see, are expensive, but they are better than your armored Trutel warriors with a 60-25 melee damage, a 50 plus 15 bonus versus infantry, 60 charge bonus, which is absolutely crazy, a 67 melee defense, low armor, high health. They have the ability Frenzy and Headhunt, which end to scare everyone. So these units will be a absolute nightmare if you mix them into your own army. They will fucking wreck everything, especially everything that is around here. Like, they might not go so well against all the Iberians and Romans and all that, but over here they will be able to wreck your shit, to wreck everybody else's shit in your favor. So as a challenge campaign, this one is fairly fun because it gives you options on where to go. It can get a little bit difficult if you don't have enough money to upgrade your armies and troops, because yeah, if you're stuck with like slave infantry and basic crappy armies, it can get quite difficult. But once you get through that first stage and upgrade your units, it gets a lot of fun. So with that being said, I think I would rate this one a 7.5 ish, maybe a little bit more towards a little experienced players. For a new player, this one is fairly difficult, I would say, because it's requires a little bit more tactic and strategical thinking to make everything work with everything like in it's around here. So with that being said, I think that is all for today. So I just want to say, if you don't have anything to add, if you do, please leave it in the comments down below. And if you don't have anything to add, just please leave a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!